Good morning. It's a cold morning here in Western New York, but uh, I just can't believe everything that's going on. Like most of you, I'm sure that each morning you wake up and you can't believe it of all the news that has happened overnight, which it seems like I can't even say our because he's not, but the person who believes that he is president of the United States, he does all this unbelievable crap overnight. Um, it's just it's downright scary. But a few things that are going on that I wanted to talk about. One, it's because it helps me to express it. So I hope that my expressing it and resonates, and that it helps not only me but it helps other people to express some thoughts on how we can get through this, because at no time in the history of the US have we gone through such crazy shit, and it's only going to get crazier. But a couple things that I was thinking about that are really top of mind for me is the fact of how our parties, predominantly on the right, really want to pit Americans against each other, um, rather than look for where there's common ground. I think everyone, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, is you we can all agree that the US has a problem with spending, and that there's a lot that we have to get under control. And for many years, well over a decade, probably well over 2 or 3 decades, been talking about cutting back on costs. And I read a post from a friend of mine today who is a Trump fan, who voted for Trump, and he said one of the reasons is that Trump is the only one who's doing something to cut costs. And it's hard to argue with that. What you can argue with is the fact of how he's going about it. And it's very symbolic of how a narcissist operates, is to, one, is to manipulate people into believing what they want them to believe, which he is very, very good at. And the other is the torching of everyone so people believe it's their fault, and when it's not. So when our democratic, I can't even say democratic, but when our Democrats are talking about this, they're talking about it in such a way that it doesn't resonate with everybody. It's like they've got to be honest, and they have to actually come out and say, yes, we agree, we have to cut costs, this is how we should do it. The other is that they are living in a fantasy world where the Democrat members of Congress, of the Senate, actually believe, which this is almost laughable, actually believe that if the courts rule against Trump, that he will follow them. Because if you listen to them, and I listened to Senator Klobuchar yesterday saying, it's like, well, when the courts rule, it's like, the courts have ruled. Several federal courts have ruled against Trump, and it hasn't stopped him one iota of doing anything. So if they think that all of a sudden Trump is going to see the light and say, oh yes, the judges or the Supreme Court has ruled against me, I now must stop, they should get their heads out of their ass, because that's where they are, that's where they have been, and it's most likely where they will be. Is if we think of this, whether it's Republican or Democrat, why have our deficits gotten so out of hand? Why have our spending got out of hand? It's because that's how they make money. It's like they don't make money through working with us. They make money off the lobbyists, off the corporations, and everyone else that supports this behavior. Whether you're on the left or on the right, that's just the way it is. Number one, this is probably not number one, but probably 2 or 10 by now, is that there should be term limits. And the senior leadership of the Senate on the Democratic side should resign. You should resign or take back and give it over to someone younger. Because, number one, Schumer, he's not a rabble-rouser, and he does nothing when you hear him speak to instill confidence that he knows what he's doing. He just, yeah, he's a professional bullshitter. So he should go and just say, you know what, enough's enough. It's, in support the people from the back bench. He should become a backbencher. And along with other ones on the Democratic Party, and give it to a younger generation. And for all that we've heard is the negative about AOC and Omar, those two young women are probably two of the brightest women that I've heard speak that should have a bigger role in the Democratic Party. There's a reason why those on the right, why they call them out. It's because those two women they're scared of. Both of them are extremely bright, intelligent women, and not even people, who know a lot about what's going on with the younger generation, what's going on in the world today, and should really solicit their thoughts and work with them and have them be more of speakers for the entire party. That's just my thought, and people can tell me I'm crazy, and that's fine. It wouldn't be the first time. But we have to figure out a way and talk about, and not just hoping that something happens on the backside with the courts and with the judges. We have to begin to be vocal and to stand up for what's going on. It's, there is so much crazy out there that when you have people on the right saying, you know, quoting now that what we are doing as being, I guess, reactionary or being part of the resistance, that what we are doing is that we are actually the traitors. It's like, have they been asleep, you know, since 2017? Did they miss on what happened on January 6th of 2021? What the hell are they thinking? Or do they have no idea what an insurrection actually is? Because that was a perfect example. We have to become more vocal. We have to speak out, and we can't just rely on the few of us that are. And I'm just doing very little by speaking out and voicing, is that we have to share our opinions. We have to share our thoughts, and we can't be scared. If we're scared and run and hide, then what does it say about us and how we were raised to love our country and to stand up for it? Now more than ever is when we have to stand up, and we have to fight for what we believe in. And we can't just take it sitting down, but we also have to listen to the other side and not look for where we differ, but look for where we agree and work together and get rid of those who are, and when I say get rid of, is look for ways to change the system legitimately, effectively, lawfully, so that we remove the corporations, the lobbyists, foreigners, foreign investment from having such a huge part of our democracy. So those are my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoy. I know it's hard, but keep smiling. Try to smile. And just remember, it's like after a storm, the sun does come out. So keep a positive outlook, my friends.